be in a big fat bubble, and if that bubble crashes, it's a problem. The word bubble, remember the word bubble, you heard it here first. I mean, I don't want to sound rude, but I hope if it explodes, it's going to be now rather than 2 months into another administration. Because honestly, you got yourself problems. The word bubble, remember, we could be in a big fat bubble, and if that bubble crashes, it's a problem. The word bubble, remember the word bubble, you heard it here first. I mean, I don't want to sound rude, but I hope if it explodes, it's going to be now rather than 2 months into another administration. We could be in a big fat bubble, and if that bubble crashes, I don't want to sound rude, but I hope if it explodes, it's going to be now rather than 2 months into another administration. I don't want to sound rude, but I hope if it explodes, it's going to be now rather than 2 months into another administration. And if that bubble, because honestly, you got yourself problems. We could be in a big fat bubble, and if that bubble crashes, it's a problem. The word bubble, remember the word bubble, you heard it here first. I mean, I don't want to sound rude, but I hope if it explodes, it's going to be now rather than 2 months into another administration. Because honestly, you got yourself problems. The word.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing? Hanging out on the porch with the brothers. How's everybody doing? We could be on the verge of some sort of a collapse. Might just be a bubble. And so the people got to come together. You got to lay down your tribalism and figure out how the heck do we make it through this collapse? That's going to be the question. My question of the day, because I think I was listening to, I posted it was a good little talk from an economist this morning, being interviewed by good old Chris Hedges. I think I posted, it was on Contact, Richard Wolff. And the fact of the matter is, and by the way, can y'all hear me? I shifted. I got my headset in this morning. I want to see if the audio's a little better. Am I crisp? Am I clear? Can I get like a thumbs up or a yes? I can hear you on the porch. That's right, I'm on the porch. Yeah, porch monkey. Now, we all just some monkeys. Where's Brother Harsh at with his little his impressions? We all just some monkeys. We all just some monkeys. We are. We're 98% monkey. And when the collapse is coming, we don't ever see it. Always seems to happen. The Great Depression always comes around. These monetary systems always collapse. Every fiat currency's ever gone away. Every type of currency's ever gone away. Every empire has always gone away. Every civilization has always gone away. But you know, it's always us. It's always us. We always, no, we're not going away. Nope, money, staying here. Nope. The dollar bill, nope, it's not going nowhere. So I think we got to get together on the porch and let's have a real honest discussion. Like I look at everybody's, everyone's got like solutions and duct tape. We got to hold things up. We got to keep it together, brother. We got to keep the money going. We got to put some money into it. We need some stimulus. We need some MMT. We need some, blockchain. We need this, we need cryptocurrency. And I'm just sitting back like, no, y'all ever been to a neighborhood and you had the old lady on the porch or the old brothers, the guys on the porch, and they just sit there and they just like watch everybody go by. Everybody's just going by, flipping the hell out. Just, we going here, we're going to do this, we're going to fix this, we're going to fix it. And the old guy on the porch is like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I've seen this before. I'm 100, because he's always like 180 years old. I mean, he's just sitting on the porch watching all the people in the rat race running around. Oh, we're going to save it. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. No, you're not. No, you're not. We've seen this before. That old guy, the old lady, she wasn't, well, sometimes she was on the porch. Sometimes she's on the porch. She was on the porch when she had her shotgun because y'all used to walk to her roses. That was a different story. But she's sometimes in the window if you live in like the inner city. And she just sit in the window and just watch you, just look at you. Like, where y'all going, baby? Y'all need to slow down because you're stupid, you're dumb. You're trying to chew bubble gum, walk at the same time, trying to have a job, go to school, back, get education, hold up this slavery, forced labor-based system, and it's not going to work. It always fails, baby. You're going to trip, fall, hit your, So I suspect that we are just going to fall. And I believe these economists who say it. I believe the analysts who say it. I believe history. Imagine that. Imagine if we actually just believed history for a minute, that all of this is going to fall. Maybe because it's supposed to. Maybe we put together a system that's just foul. Maybe the president was right. This is all just a bubble, and he'd rather it collapse while he's in office than anybody else. Damn it, I have to agree with him. Let me hear that say it. I agree with him. I would rather, if this system's going to collapse, personally, I'd rather be in control when it collapses too. You know, and of course, we got to always address the elephant in the room. Yeah, because Trump did it. No, Trump didn't do it. Because Obama did it. No, Obama didn't do it. Because Bush. No. Baby, the system was designed to fail, right? They do this. They're just playing markets. That's all I think that's happening. I mean, they play the American market. They play the American currency. America goes from being, you know, the good guy who saved the world. He stopped the Germans. Meanwhile, the Germans just took all their money, all their investment, all their technology, all their scientists, and they just moved to the United States. That's all they did. So it's funny. I was listening to a thing they were talking about, say the Nazis never lost. The Germans really didn't lose. They just moved. And I believe it. They just, the powerful people behind them just moved to the United States. We're the Fourth Reich. And now we're the big bad guys. And the only people who don't seem to understand that are the Americans. And so the Americans are lost, is just dumb as the day is long, unfortunately. But the good people, you got to love Americans. But they're just lost, and they don't realize that they are the bad guys. They are the Germans. They're the horrible people. And you run this thing out, you invade everybody you can, you steal all the resources you can, you get all the oil you can. And when it's just gone to the extent, you get everybody fighting, get the right fighting the left, the blacks fighting the white, everybody fighting everybody. And once it's all done, you made a whole lot of money. You pull your support from the system. You make a call on the credits like they did in the Great Depression, and we're coming for the next Great Depression. That's all we're doing. We became the bad guys. We looted, robbed, steal. We blame each other. We blame America. We blame Britain. Blame everybody. And meanwhile, they're just going to take all their investment and just move to another country. Like, I think all of it works together. Like, if you look at the Russians, right? The Russians somehow became the good guy. How did that happen? How did the Russians, the commies, the bad guys, socialists, how did they all, in China, how did they become the wise people and we became the bad guy? The whole world views us as, only Americans think that they're doing anything good. But I suspect, let me jump off it. I'm going to get off the porch for a minute. I know, I'm on the porch. Sometimes you got to be on the porch, but because you got to sit on, I like that picture. I do, because you can sit on the porch, all the old guys, and just talk about, what have y'all seen? Old guys were sitting comparing notes. We've been here before. You know, this is supposed to collapse. They play good cop, bad cop. America's now the bad cop. America used to be the good cop. Now America's the bad cop. America's going to decline. The vacuum of power will happen. They have their next country lined up, whether it's Russia or China, Britain. Somebody will step up, be the world good guy, going to save everybody, and it's going to do the same dirty thing. This is why I entitled this one, A Spoonful of Sugar Makes the Greed, Slavery, and War Go Down. Because it does. They got us. They tricked us. They did. We just admit it. They got us with the atomic wedgie. Y'all know what it's on? You got the wedgie and you got the atomic wedgie. Y'all man, shoot. Brother used to give me a wedgie, that bastard. But that wasn't nothing when that atomic wedgie came. Oh my gosh. You just in the air dangling, feet just a dangling. What the hell? This, oh my goodness. And then you hit a rip. That's when your drawers rip and you fall a little bit. They got us. They got us with the atomic wedgie, you guys. So anyway, I don't think, let me move my head for a minute. Let me move my head over here. I don't think we're that far from the bread lines. I don't. And it's not, and this is only a message of misery to people who aren't listening to the old people on the porch. Go, you know what? Do me a favor, because this is what I like to do. I like examples and homework. Like, do things. Don't trust me. Go find some of the oldest people you know, the people who lived through the Great Depression. Centurions, I like to call them. And you ask them. Just ask them. Is this going to last? Will a dollar last? Will this economy last? Is this sustainable? Like, if you actually are like sad with the idea that this is all collapsing our economy, our dollar. If you are really sad with the idea, then you're one of the people who took the sugar, right? And you took the slavery down, and you took the war, and you took the greed because you had your little mini greed, and you were okay with all of this. This is supposed to fall, people. It is. To me, this is a happy message. I'm happy. I'm like, ding dong, bring out your dead. What was that? Wilt Chamberlain in that movie? He had the bell and he was ringing the bell. Bring out your dead. Bring out your dead. What was the name of that movie? That's kind of how I am. And it's a happy message. Why? Because I look at the brothers and the sisters all over the world who are doing horrible. I look at the children who are just being starved. They're not starving. Our greed is starving them because we got a little sugar to push all the war down, and it made it taste delicious. And so we got a nice job on Wall Street, got a nice job as an engineer and manager. They just give you a little sugar. Little sugar, you know what the sugar is? That's your house, that's your car. But you know, the whole time, because you know, it's like so it's like the wedgie example. Like your friend come behind you. He gonna stand behind you and like, wait a minute, why are you standing behind me, man? Hey, you kind of big, man. You about 7 foot 250. Why are you standing behind me? Muscles and everything, you know. And you feel your shirt go up in the back, and the next thing is coming is the atomic wedgie. You know, you trusted him. You shouldn't have trusted him. You shouldn't have trusted your elite. We're tired. You shouldn't have trusted your elite, baby. Darling, you did the wrong thing. You did the wrong thing. You trusted the people who did slavery the last time, and you trusted them. You trusted the people who did forced labor in war before, and you trusted them. You trusted you hated the Nazis. Now you're trusting the Nazis. It doesn't make no sense. So anyway, how's everybody doing this morning? I'm kind of smiling, and my happiness, it doesn't come from our economy because it's gonna suck. It's not gonna be any fun. It's going to suck. We're going to be growing food. We're going to be trading tomatoes and stuff, trying to put our economy back together. But it's okay. It'll give the world a break. It'll give the world a break. And my love, I'm more interested in giving, how many people in the world? 6,780 people a break from the 240 million people that's going to go through some struggle. Actually, more than that. It's probably about 1 billion. Probably everybody in the West, because the United States, the dollar going to collapse, and then the UK going to collapse. South America going to kind of be hurt, but that going to be too bad. They still grow food down there. They're still sustainable. They're still strong people. They haven't been weakened. It's like I was talking to Brother Razag yesterday. Hope y'all caught that. Oh, man, amazing, amazing brother. Love that brother to death. Coming from Gaza. And kind of explained, he said, you know, but we're weak over here. I said, no, you're not weak. You're not weak. They just took your seeds. They just took your soil. They just took your land. You're not weak. You're stronger than I am. All your kids are stronger than I am, you know. But sustainability is where strength comes from. So I get what he's saying. You know, they made him weak. And right now in America, we're weak. South America, they're not weak. Britain, you're weak. You know, well, not some farms still in Britain. But we're in big trouble because the Great Depression is next door. It is right there. And so, you know, the countries that are kind of loosely based on the American economy, they're going to have some trouble. But it's not going to be too bad. They still got societies full of strong, sustainable people. If you look around, this is how you know the zombie apocalypse is coming. If you look around and you see a lot of nice cars, see a lot of big houses, big air conditioning and heating units, lots of lights. If it's smell the air, taste the air, taste a little perfume, a lot of perfume in the air, there's a lot of cologne in the air. You want to get out of that area. That's all I'm gonna say. That taste, the people doing good, that smell of good people, that's the smell and the taste of people who are not going to be surviving this. They are not going to be surviving the Great Depression. The next Great Depression, this is going to be the collapse of America. But it's going to be a good thing. I think a lot of people see it coming. I think there are a lot of people, it tends to be in the suburbs and going further out. In fact, I got a lot of folks and friends in the city, actually, who are already planning and plotting. I got friends in the city. They're not telling you. They won't tell you anything because they're like, it's crazy to say the world going to end. It's crazy. They called me. Hey, look, what should I be planting on this property? What property? Man, you live in the city. You ain't got no land. No, what should I be planting? Are you trying to tell me you bought some land out in the country? Why are you buying land out? Yeah, I did. I got a septic system and a cabin. Why you got that? You work on Wall Street, man. Why you got? I'm not sure what's gonna happen. You know what's happening. They know. They're just not telling you. So if you're still sitting there, like if you're looking at the people like us with the bell, ding, bring out your dead. I need a bell. Bring out the bodies. Bring out your dead. You know, if you it's not bring out the dead though, it's probably bring out your dollars, right? It's like bring out your dollars, because we need to burn them in the street so we can have a fire, some warmth and stuff, because the dollar ain't gonna be worth a damn. It's not supposed to be. They designed this to collapse. They did this to them. Anyway, how's everybody? Let me say hi to everybody. How everybody doing this morning? I don't know where it's going to go. I looked at a couple things around the news, around the world. Actually, I found a new news channel, new European news. I forgot what it's called. I avoid news. Like I said, I don't watch any news in my country because it's always designed to tell me what I'm not. So it's always designed to tell me what they want me to think. So I found a new European news. I got some friends in Europe. I have to get them to tell me if this is like, what's it called? Euro News. They got a YouTube channel called Euro News in English. Somebody tell me, are they fake news? They lie. Are they lie? Am I going to like click on it and aliens took my baby and click on it and they got Bigfoot and other stuff? Do they like click on it and like, yeah, we're going to go start a war and bring about some peace and help some people and save some babies from chemical weapons? All right. Anyway, who we got? Brother Dillip is in the house over on YouTube. Welcome, bro. I always got to greet YouTube. YouTube, y'all a little, not doing so well. My YouTube channel's a little weak. I haven't spent a lot of time. I've been spending more time there. I'm drumming up a little drama, making comments on things. I got to figure out how to use it. Don't know how to use it yet. What's going on, brother? Let me see. What did he say? Russians fought off the Germans in World War II, suffered heavy casualties, 23 million. Yeah, they did. Because why? That's a good example, Dillip. Why? Because the Russians were sustainable. They were in their own climate. They knew. And it's funny, if you go back and you study World War II, what did the Russians do? They, bad thing was coming. A bad time was coming. The economy was about to collapse. The bubble was getting too big. They're like, uh-oh, Germans coming. Damn it, they come. They got tanks. They got the Tiger tank, they got all this mechanized weapons, they got bullets, guns, bombs. We've seen the Blitzkrieg. They ran all across Europe. What did the Russians do? Said, all right, comrade, I got you. Yeah, y'all bad. Y'all got all that stuff. Y'all gonna kill us. But you know what? You don't know nothing about sustainability in the Russian climate. And they backed up. So everything is an example, y'all. Everything fits together. Everything is strategy. They said, okay, keep on coming. They let them keep coming. They let Wall Street keep going with their greed. They keep coming. And they got them way up, almost to Moscow. They were stretched too far. They started hitting the logistics behind them. The big tanks couldn't get through the snow. They got bogged down in the mud, and the Russians came in and slaughtered them. That's why when I say let it collapse, y'all. Let it collapse. We have a system that's based on the worst evils since the human ever existed on this planet. We have a system that thrives on mugging, robbing, raping, and murder. Like, the good thing about getting mugged on the street in New York City? I know, I'm putting New York on it. I already hit New York. I don't hit New York. Chicago. A good thing about getting mugged by somebody on the streets of Chicago? When they mug you, it's usually a poor person. All they want is a little money. They want a little food. They want your wallet or your purse. You give it to them, and they're gone. The bad thing when America mugs your country, Britain mugs your country, the West comes in and mug your country, they don't just take your wallet or your purse. They take your wallet, your purse, they rape your wife, they take your kids, if they fall into sex slavery, and they just totally debilitate you. And that's all it is. We have a system that's based on the worst evils that needs to go away. Why? Because they gave you a spoonful of sugar and it made it go down real easy. That's why they give you sugar. They give you things that taste good. They give you lifestyles that aren't sustainable because they're based on forced labor, but they make it taste good. And then you get people who come along with the duct tape. And I'm not attacking anybody's new currency model or anything like that. I'm not. I'm just saying, with your cryptocurrencies and all these things that are going to save this economy, why exactly do you want to save it? And who is it that's trying to save it? What does Ty call them all the time? The business class. I think Ty's spot on with that. It usually is the business class. It's usually the higher educated people who are doing pretty good in slavery. They're doing pretty good in war. They're doing pretty good in sex slavery. They're doing pretty good in this industry, in this economy, what our whole economy is based on. We are a war economy. I was watching something this morning. Donald Trump gonna win the Peace Prize. What is it? Nobel Peace Prize. Nobel Peace Prize. That's what I was thinking. I know I had to look at my thread. I know somebody's mad at me yelling something. I was like, the Nobel Peace Prize. That's the Nobel War Prize. That's the Nobel Slavery and Rape Prize. I think that that's just the military-industrial complex or defense contractors, and they come up with this Nobel Peace Prize thing because they give it to some of the most dastardly people ever. I know, you don't know what to do with that, do you? Thought I was going to say Obama should have got it. Nope, not going to say that. Not if peace was in the world, that brother. That's why they call him Obama. Have y'all ever seen that? If you're somebody, if you've been on my, you know you've seen it. I laugh when I see it. Obama, they spell it bomb, E-R, Obama. And but they give you the sugar, right? Because he was sugar to a lot of people. He tasted good. I know that sounds nasty as all hell, but he did. He did sound like your uncle. He talked real cute. Oh, we're going to help people. We're going to struggle together. We're going to hope for change. Put that sugar in there. How that war go down? That war goes down real good, doesn't it? And they say things like, oh, when the Boko Haram took the girls, they came up with the hashtag, save our girls. Get a little sugar. Oh, we saving girls, y'all. We saving girls. No, you're not. No, you're not. You might save 13, but you're selling tens of thousands. The ones that you don't eviscerate in the ovens that we fly over and bomb. When the economies fall apart, they fall into the worst evils imaginable. They give you the sugar, and you just take it down happily, you know? And all I'm trying to say, all I'm trying to show is this cup of coffee that they try to get you to drink down, this society that y'all are trying to save, this economy you're trying to save, smell the cup. Smell like doo-doo, smell like slavery, smell like junk, anaerobic water you don't want to put in your gut. When you smell it, you're not supposed to drink it, no matter how much sugar they put. It's like this. And I kind of think people know. Here's an example I'm going to give. I think people actually know how sick our society is. I think they do. You know why when you want to drink, when you're walking, you guys ever go to the swamp? When I was a kid, I used to play in the swamp. I know. I should have been dead a long time ago. We anaerobic water. We playing there, splashing on each other. Yeah! We found an alligator, snapping turtles, pulling them out the swamp. Yeah! Get the frogs and stuff. Get them all just slimy in your hands. Put it on your head. Your brother put it on your head. You having fun. Right in your face. You're scratching because a mosquito gets you and put it in your mouth and stuff. Then you get your mama make your lunch. Your mama say, go wash your hands, baby. You don't wash your hands. You just go get your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Get your hands, get your potato chips, put them in the PB&J and just bite it. Should have died a long time ago. But you know why a swamp stinks to you? You know why it smells bad? It's because your body is telling you. That's what a bad smell is. Your body is telling you, don't eat that. That's your body. It's like sniffing the doo-doo. Don't eat that. That we gonna get sick. Like all the studies into microbiology in our gut and how they work with our brain, they actually know what's going to kill them. And they are with you. You are their host. They're communicating to you. That's anaerobic water. We are a oxygenated creature. We thrive on oxygen, not carbon dioxide. Don't drink that. If you drink that, you're going to kill a bunch of us, and you're probably going to die too. And so I think people have a sense. I think if they smell it, they know it smells bad. They know this smells bad. They know the truth. But they go ahead and let Obama put the sugar in it. They let the Republicans go ahead and put some sugar in. They let Trump put the sugar in. Stir it up real good. I know it smells bad, but it's going to taste good. It's going to taste better than it smells, And I just think that we have to stop doing that. I think, hey, Trump should get the Peace Prize, right? Because he's shown that he's going to go along with the wars. He's shown that he's going to go back on almost everything he said, because that's what Obama did. He went back on almost everything he said, because we all took down the sugar, fought with the other side. By we, I don't mean me. But we as a collective, we all swallowed. But anyway, who else in the room? I'm off on a discussion already. Morning. I see our Crystal's in the house, and we got Elaine, Susan, and Linda. Good morning. Sharistan, Sister Sharistan's in the house. Shopa from India, Brian. Let me see, who else we got? Jill, And let me see, what a beautiful building that is, Sister Susan. A beautiful building. Where? Behind me? Oh, that building. Did you see the first one, Susan? You see the first, this? Well, this is the bread. They're handing out free bread. This is the Great Depression we're heading for. Let me show you, Susan. You were probably a little late. Were you late? Look, we were on the porch. We're on the porch right now. We just talking. We on the porch talking. We got to talk about a few things. I like this building better. This is a sustainable building. You can tell because you can see the bricks under the base of it. You know, when the cities fall down and the cities disappear, you ever watch a show called, what's the name? Life After People. Good show. You know, the bricks will still be right there. There's a reason why ancient sites are here. They're still here, but there's no civilization. But it was obvious that there was ancient technology going back in the past. It's because they built sustainably. They built sustainable pyramids. They built a sustainable Sphinx. They were smarter than us because they focused on sustainability. They didn't take the sugar. They weren't worried about the sugar at the time. I know somebody in a grass skirt, something was trying to hand us some sugar, that this is going to be a sustainable building. It's going to be a sustainable society. And it wasn't. Everything I talk about, I think everything we talk about, it's just about sustainability. We need sustainable economies, sustainable currencies, sustainable everything, sustainable relationships with each other. The left-right relationship is not sustainable. The Muslim-Christian relationship is not sustainable. Why? Because greed always does what it's going to do. People think that, you know, like we said, that, oh, the system's failing. No, the system's not failing. You just got a lot of really greedy people who built this, and they built it to play it like day trading, markets that blow up into bubbles and collapse, blow up into a bubble and collapse. You know, so it's not a sick thing. It's like there's a saying goes, the truth is stranger than fiction. I agree with that when we talk about aliens and life on other planets and how they evolve. I don't agree with that when it comes to here and greed and how stupid we are and what we go for because they put sugar in it. I think the truth is a hell of a lot more boring than the popular fiction realities. That's what I think. I think the truth is just the boring truth. Here's the boring truth. The boring truth is we agreed with greedy bastards to build a greedy system, and we still agree with greedy bastards to keep a greedy system. And our children are going to pay the highest price. That's what I think. Brother Tori on YouTube, spot on. Thank you. Have y'all heard of Bill Mollison and permaculture? It can save us. Yes, Tori, you're on it, aren't you? You're on it. You know, this stuff, permaculture, and that's a good word too. Let's talk about permaculture. Where does that word come from? Permaculture, permanent culture. It's why the Sphinx is still here. It's why the pyramids are still. It's why some of the oldest cultures going, they don't have drones. They don't have economies and markets. They don't have computers and laptops. They just live in the Amazon jungle. They leave other people alone. You leave them alone, right? Permaculture, permanent culture, a culture that has proven over the test of time, right? And it applies mostly to farming nowadays and gardening. So that's what the brother's talking about, permanent culture. It's growing in a way that's permanent, right? Not using the chemical fertilizers, not using the pesticides, the things that are unsustainable, because in time, you won't have those things. You know, growing in a way that the plant's been growing for billions of years, where you don't have to do anything, which is the biggest crux and the biggest phony in organic food. You know, growing organic is easier than growing chemical. You know that it's easier and more cost efficient and less labor intensive to grow organically with permaculture than it is to grow the chemical food that causes you cancer. Do you know that? That's how stupid it is. But they gave us the sugar. It's easier. It means I don't have to grow. I don't have to farm. I don't have to get dirt under my fingernails, right? I can just go to the grocery store. Ooh, give me some tomatoes, give me some basil, give me some this, you know, and go about my day. Until that cancer sets in at 52. And then, or sometimes the cancer set in at 16. Just depends on how much you ate. Permanent culture, permanent. Not just in what you grow, but in what you build, the economies you support, the people you support, the currencies you support, the currencies you let fail, right? Like, you know, I posted a good talk. Who was it? I was talking yesterday. It was Rand Paul. Rand Paul was talking to Wolf Blitzer. I think it was Wolf Blitzer. And Wolf, Rand was like, we got to end the wars. Like, he's one of the few people in government who actually are worth a damn. He's like one of the few humans who actually are in government. There's a few. There might be 5 or 10 in America, something like that. The rest are psychopath killers. But but they smell good. They got the sugar. They talk cute. They always got the sugar. But what he was saying, he was basically saying we need to stop the wars. And Wolf Blitzer was like, but the jobs. But the jobs? Rand Paul is saying we need to stop murdering people. And Wolf Blitzer saying, but we need the jobs. Right? Because war is what props up our economy. That's what Wolf Blitzer knows. War is what we are. This whole thing was based on an unsustainable, inhuman model of killing people and taking what they have or giving it to other people. It's like we were talking about in summary yesterday with Brother Rezeg, right? What happened in Palestine? Say, oh, the Palestinians aren't working together because they're not supposed to, because we took over their land and we have now sellouts in Palestine. We set up some lords who are corrupt to keep the boot on their people, right? This is an unsustainable model, so it has to fall. But that's how sick it is. You got the Wolf Blitzers who are like, I know war's bad. Deep down, he's got to know war's bad. Somewhere, he could be a psychopath, but deep down, he's got to know how bad it is. But the jobs. And is that not how, well, one of the ways that we got the previous president and this president? Jobs. Because the president's going to give us some jobs instead of the real base question. Should there be any jobs in a society that's based on this? And there shouldn't be. We shouldn't exist, you guys. And that's the reality. The West should not exist. The West needs to fall. But the biggest problem, I think, with the West falling, though, is, we all want to get to a place where the world goes to a new paradigm shift into a beautiful place, right? One, we're not going to get there without the West collapsing. The police state is too powerful. They can put you in prison for anything. They can shut off and censor you. Unfortunately, the sugar was too good for too many people. The business class, they will be happy for you to be murdered and gunned down in the street. Once again, the business class, they don't care about white lives, black lives. None of those matter. Not even blue lives. They're perfectly happy to let you all get murdered in the street. I can't say it the way that my friends say it, but they say they don't give two fudges. It doesn't sound as good. I can't say it, but it doesn't sound as good. I like how they say it. They said they don't give two fudge. And they don't, because the sugar is good, y'all. Sugar is delicious. It's a carcinogen. It's going to come back and get you later, but the sugar makes it go down real well. Let me see. We aren't going to crash because then China will lose its business. I don't think that it's going to be a total crash, Shuristan. Like all of this stuff is always designed so they make out. The people who on top will always win. They'll let us crash to a point where millions of us could die. It's no big deal, because they don't want you to be sustainable. They're outlawing permaculture. They're outlawing gardening. They're outlawing rainwater collection. They're outlawing putting up wind vanes. Like, they want it to collapse. They want it to fall hard. But it won't be a total fall, right? Because all they do is shift their money to China. They'll make a lot of money over there. They'll make a whole bunch of stuff, sell it to us over here every now and then to let us come back together, let millions of us die, and they'll run the world with China and Russia for a little while. And then once we come back up, then they'll come back over. They'll make them the bad guy. They'll make them the imperialists. They'll be bombing everybody, have bases everywhere. And then they'll collapse their society. Then they'll move up their money over here as we build up. And so to me, I think we need to think about transgenerational sustainability too. Like, where do we want the world to get to? And we want the world to get to a place it is not at right now. And so it's important that America collapses. It is important that the West collapses, and it's going to collapse either way. It's like, there's nothing we can do. There's absolutely nothing we can do to stop it. All we can do is limit who gets hurt on the way down. That's it. Like, these bread lines right here, they shouldn't exist. These people should not be in line in a city going for bread. Number one, they shouldn't even be in a city, right? They all should have had some land in the country. They should have had friends in the country, right? We can control the collapse we go through, and we can make sure very few people get hurt if we're all doing what we're supposed to do, if we're all being strong, if we're all understanding that we're weak, but we need to become strong. We need to know how to grow food. We need to know. And I'm not saying have a massive garden and grow all your own food right now. I'm not saying that. You need to go to work. You got to support your slavery. You got to go to the bank. You got to write the software. You got to go program. You got to go work for Monsanto. You got to go do your evil. You got to live in today. I'm not that lost in reality. Like, you got to live in today. I get that. That's why I say we all sell out, no matter who we are. If you live in the West, you're a part of this. But it doesn't mean on your spare time. You don't maybe take a little time out of going to the bar. You know, maybe take a little time out of shopping with the girlfriends, and go and start to plant the seed. Learn how to grow something. A little. You can do a little tomato plot, little herbs or something, but you're not going to magically go out when the depression starts. When it just boom, it just collapses. When they want to go and pull the credit out of the system. When it finally falls. Venezuela pulling out of the dollar now, China. Who was it? I don't think it was Syria or somebody basically said that, you can't, they won't, they give a discount. Was it Venezuela? They give a discount like 30% now on oil if you don't use the American dollar. Like, this is an all-on assault, but we can have a controlled collapse if we know what to do. If we are smart as our grandparents, if we're as smart as our great-grand, that's why I say talk to the old people. And let me go back to the porch. Where the porch at? That's what I'm saying. Find yourself some old people and ask them, have you seen this before? Have we been here? How many times have you seen this in your life? We see it collapsing all the time. But when it collapses this time, because we have the internet, our friends around the world can actually see what we did wrong, right? And that's what I want. That's what I get out of this. That's where our friends around the world can look and they can see, oh my goodness, we were colonized. And it was the colonized, let me cut that off. We were colonized. It was the colonizing mindset that took over the world. And they gave us all of these really, really bad ideas because they all gave us a little bit of sellout sugar. Some of us were on the top. Some of us were the landlords. Some of us were the lords higher on with getting their prima nocta. And people say, what's prima nocta? Y'all remember prima nocta? That was when England came and they said, that didn't sound right. If you know what prima nocta is, that didn't sound right. But what did they do? They said, oh, you know what? Listen, if you manage the monkeys here, because you know the culture, you know them, you know who to kill, you know who, whatever you need. I don't want to, the king was, I don't want to manage this. I want you to manage this colony. How about I make you in charge of this colony? And you can pick your army. I give you all the money. You can hire them. They'll have food because they're all starving now. We done destroyed everything, But I'll let you sleep with everybody's wife the day of marriage. That's what prima nocta was, right? Because they give a little sugar to the sellout, right? And these sick bastards would go for it because at the time, our brains were a little less evolved when they are now. Back then, women were just cattle. They were things. They were less than cattle, But that's what prima nocta is. Look it up. But there's always sugar of the time, and that's the sugar of today. I don't think it's any different. I don't, do the people who make the most money pretty much get what they want out of society? Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They don't take it on the wedding night, but they kind of get what they want when they want. Whether it's your husband or your wife, your house, the cars, they kind of get what they want. And so the sugar has always been something different in time. But it's always still based on this colonizing mindset of denying somebody else self-determination. Who we got else this morning? Brother Chris, America was the good cop and bad cop. They sent in the goons to destroy and then the fake doctors and nurses to heal the sickness they created. Yes, Chris, you always come with something deep. Brother Chris always saying something real deep. And that's exactly what they did. They sent in, they destroyed, they play good cop, bad cop on all levels, not just at like the national level. They play good cop, bad cop. They play it with the Democrats and the Republicans. They play it with local government. They play these games on our psyche. There's always somebody getting up behind us, ready to get the atomic wedgie because we let them stand behind us. Don't let them stand behind you. Renee said, we are the tool. We've always been the tool. We've always been the tool. We just have to admit it. It doesn't really matter if we've always been the tool. We've always been the currency. Like, it doesn't really matter if you swap currencies because the currency isn't real anyway. None of these things are real. The only thing that's real is we are the tool. We are the currency. We've always been the currency. Human labor has always been the currency. And that's the scary part that we're getting to and where we're going on this voyage to insanity is that human labor is about to not be the currency, right? Robot labor is about to be the currency. And as that shifts, you get more and more hungry people. And as that happens, the people who are still taking the sugar, they're wanting to keep it propped up because they see how bad it is. They see the bread lines. They don't want to stand in the bread lines. Their need to sell out more and more and more and more and more increases. And so we got to be sustainable. We got to go back to being sustainable people. What are we talking about in the thread? Brother Tory says, yep, we are forced in suburbia to mow and be fined. Oh, yeah, when so many of our weeds are medicine. Ooh, Tori's hitting a whole bunch of stuff today. Yes, and that's another good one, right? So same thing. Got to cut your grass. I hate grass. Grass is stupid. Yes, grass is stupid. It's dumb. Why? Because it's unsustainable. You know, we're destroying the planet. We're killing biodiversity. You're putting a bunch of chemicals and fertilizers on the grass to get it to grow because you don't realize grass grows in sun. You can't have all the trees. And also, it won't grow in your dirt. And when they came and they built your house, they built it on clay. They didn't leave any soil. And so they put down this stuff called sod. In the West, all of these stupid ideas. And then you cut your grass to keep it low. Otherwise, they give you fine for not cutting the grass. And I tell everybody, plant mint in your grass. You know, but around the world, you have to look at our example. Look at our failure. Russia, China, Europe, South America, the countries that actually make it through whatever this impending doom is coming from all the analysts. Look at how we failed, not how our government failed. All right, they didn't fail. They did their job. The elites who run them, they did their job too. This was designed to do this. But when these downturns come, that's when you have a chance to modify things. That's the only chance we get a chance at a paradigm shift. Like I look around the world and I watch you guys protest. You don't have like police with guns ready to mow you down like we do. You don't live in a police state necessarily when they know we're about to protest. They know who's going to the protest, what's on the sign, when they're going to show up, when they're going to leave, who they're riding with. They know all of that, you know. But in the economies and the societies that have less of a police state, when we go through these economic downturns, you can get in the street and you can say, no, we're not going to let you deploy another currency that's just going to allow you to make another bubble of a system so it can collapse again. We're going to do something different. We're going to bring about a paradigm shift. We realize that when money is the basis of a society, that you will always have rape, murder, war. You'll always have a colonizer denying other people of their rights and their will to want to live another way, because the currency has always been human labor, right? But that's where we're coming to. I don't think they're going to do too many of these downturns, because when robot labor is the base currency, we're done. We are done at that point. At that point, you have no value to the people who run the world, who've shown you human life is of no value. They're starving people all over the world. They're bombing all people all the way. And you were born in the UK and America. You think, oh, but that's just them. They love me. They'll never do it to me. You wait till they get them robots. You wait till they get that automation. It doesn't have to come overnight. Some people say, oh, we're 50 years out. Okay. 50 years out from robots and software doing your job? Okay. I don't think you know how a collapse works. But when the robots get in there, when the software gets in there and they get rid of the accountants and the lawyers, they got to get jobs. Where they going to go? Coming to your industry. What's your salary going to do when they come to when millions of people flood your industry? Your salaries go down. Your value goes down. You're a dime a dozen at that point. And that's why it's going to be I think if it's an automation collapse, it's going to be a fast one. That's my industry. That's where I came from. And I'm just sitting here saying, like, you think it's going to be decades. I don't think we got decades. I've done this for a little while. I was an automation software engineer for 20 years, and I worked in various corporations. We don't have as much time as you think we do. They have not released the things that we've created. They're sitting on them. They're perfecting them. They're getting out the bugs and the tweaks. And I think they realize when they start releasing a lot of the software, it is going to collapse a lot of things because you're going to have cascading effects. And so I think they kind of sit on it for a little while. And they do the planned obsolescence. They release slow versions at a time, but they never release what they have right away. But when it finally comes out, when y'all finally get in the street, say, oh, we're not going to take it anymore. They say, okay, bye. They're going to press a button. Boop. Done. We don't need you anymore. And you get in the street, then they get the robot cop to take care of you. You know the robot cop? Y'all remember that? Was it San Francisco or LA? They were trying to deploy the robot cop to push the homeless off the street. That's all you're going to be. You're going to be a homeless person, and they're going to have a robot come by with a taser to tase you to get you to move the hell out the way. You know that's a thing, right? That is a thing. That's a very real thing. And then the people stood up. Somebody can post a link to San Francisco or LA and say, no, we don't want that. We don't want that. It's like, okay. But somebody actually made a robot that will tase homeless people. And they put it, it's a company. And they'll put it back in the warehouse. Okay, we're not ready for this yet. But there'll be a time. You're going to turn up that voltage. So anyway, all right, who else we got? What did Ty say? Let it collapse. Let it collapse. Don't take the sugar anymore. Yes, let it go. Sister Yvonne, welcome to the house. Brother Don. Let me see. Yep, they want to hold on to their trinkets. They do, Sharistan, and they're going to do everything they can to hold on to their trinkets. And they'll try to get you to ally up with them. Oh, come on, stand with us. We're Christians. Come on, stand with us. We're Muslims. Come on, stand with us. We're good old boys. Come on, stand with us. We're black. Come on, stand with the Asian community. They done sold out. They got their trinkets. They're a little higher up than you, and they're going to do their best to stand. It's like when a ship is sinking and you got the rats. What the rats do? They all climb up and they get on each other's back and they try to get out the water, The ones on the bottom are drowning. And the rats are okay with it, and they run to the top. They just get higher up on the dead rat mound, staying out of the water. And eventually they get drowned too. Why do you think they call it rat race? Why do you think they call it the rat race? This ain't the human race. Is that Bob Marley said that? I gotta listen to some Bob today. Why do you think they call it a rat race? We're supposed to be a human race. But Bob said we call it the rat race. Why do you think they call it the rat race? Because that's all you are to them. Just a bunch of rats. That's all we are. We're a bunch of rats running around on a sinking ship, acting dumb like rats. And rats ain't that dumb. Rats been here longer than we have. They'll be here after we're gone. But we will act that way. We'll act like we don't have an internet. We'll act like we don't see the ills and the cancers of greed. We'll act like we don't see capitalism does not work. I know this is crony capitalism. That's not the point. Capitalism will always become crony capitalism. You can't stop it. That's what greed does, baby. That's the dollar, and that's just what it does. You can't stop it. So that's why we need communism. No, we don't. Communism doesn't work either. That fails too. Every example of communism you give, they all failed. Every example of socialism, they all failed. None of them worked. It's time that we stop going back to old stuff, acting like rats, fighting each other, climbing, clawing, trying to get to the top of the rat pile. None of that crap worked. We need a paradigm shift. You guys need to look at the West. You need to look at what we did wrong, especially how they divided us, especially how they came up with all these labels, all these talking points to get people who are really educated to take in more of the sugar and keep swallowing the anaerobic water of the sickness that makes this economy work. They'll fight to the very end to keep it. And it's your job to say, hell no, you're crazy, you're a sellout. I had no interest standing with you. You done sold the human race out. No, I'm not standing with you. This system has to fall, but we need to make it a controlled fall. We need to save as many people as we can, because if we don't, when it falls on their time, on their timeline, just think about that for a minute. What do you think is going to happen? When this falls, when Russia falls on the Russian oligarchs' timeline, if America falls on the big banks' timeline, you think they're going to be, they're not planning on how to make a whole lot of money in day trade, human life? You think they're not? Boy, you better read your history. Crystal, good morning, good morning. Lola Mar, pop with the 555. I know what that means now. It's a laugh. Let me see. Good morning, Amanda. Who else we got? I'm going to read down to the comments. We got Sister Grace. We got, oh, you know what? I'm going to show something. Let me read down in the comments. I'm going to play something real quick. I'm going to do something real quick. I wanted to show the beginnings of this Hedges talk. They say, oh, you know, that's crazy talk. It's not going to collapse. We ain't collapsing. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, okay. All right. That'll be your little secret. It'll be your little secret that these things that always collapse ain't going to collapse this time. You're going to make it. Let's go over to this clip.
Welcome to On Contact.
I'm sure the beginning.
Today we discuss the coming collapse of the American economic system with economist Richard Wolff.
We've given a free pass to a capitalist system because we've been afraid to debate it. And when you give a free pass to any institution, you create the conditions for it to rot right behind the facade, and that's what I think is happening.
The income inequality in the United States has not been this pronounced in over a century. The top 10% has 50% of the country's income, and the top 1% has 20% of the income. While a quarter of all American workers struggle on wages of less than $10 an hour, putting them below the poverty line, the salaries of the CEOs of top corporations are often in the billions of dollars. This income inequality is global. The richest 1% of the world's population controls 40% of the world's wealth. What does inequality this pronounced mean? And what are its consequences? How did it happen? And how much worse will it get with a new tax code that raises healthcare premiums, slashes social and public welfare programs such as Medicaid, Pell Grants, and food stamps, and ensures that tax hikes over the long term will climb for the working class? I discuss inequality with economist Rick Wolff. So where were this late stage of capitalism, which the Trump administration is accelerating? It's part of a pattern. Tell us where we are.
Well, we're at a point that your numbers verify, in which the capitalist system, which has been the growing dominant system for the last 300 years, wanted to present itself in contradiction to feudalism and slavery as the system that creates a massive middle class that lifts everybody up. And what we have, now that it has become the global system, is the exact opposite. It has reproduced the kinds of grotesque inequalities that we associate with everything from the Versailles Palace of the late Louis back to the pharaohs of ancient Egypt. It is a stunning expose of an economic system that couldn't deliver what it promised and now wants to distract everybody from this harsh reality that you pointed to. This is the major measure of a capitalist system by its own claims, and it can't deliver. That's why we're besieged with economic and political theater, anti-immigration, tariffs, all that kind of stuff, blaming foreigners, anything to get us away from confronting an economic system that doesn't work for the majority of the people.
Well, not.
That's the bottom line. Y'all can watch the whole thing. I'll post the link so you can go watch the whole thing with Chris Hedges. But the point is that this is what the analysts are saying. This is where we're going. And this is what we did. His early statement, I missed it. I didn't miss it. I forgot what it was. I'm an old guy. He said basically that we let it run out of control. Like we did this because this was capitalism run wild. This is, it's not that capitalism is this horrible monster. I don't attack any of the systems. I just say that if the basis of the system is money, the result will always be the same. It might take a little longer, but the result's always going to come back and look the exact same. We let the oligarchs and the kings and the lord push out their, colonizing model system. We're okay with them invading and whatever, and we stood back. We enjoyed the good life. It was good. It was a good run, though. It was a good run, y'all. I don't know how many people, probably 100 million people, billion people died while we lived good. Sit high on the hog, that old saying, where the old guys sit on the porch. But it's coming down. Let it come down. But it's we can slow them down a little bit, I think. Let me say this. I'm trying to process in my head. I think we can actually slow them down now. I think that if we buy less, it'll slow them down. I think let me say that the right way. Buy less big, buy more small and local. It'll slow them down. They're crying about trade wars. Let the trade wars happen. Trade wars are good for us. We want trade wars. We want to slow down the wealth that they acquire and thus slow down the governments that they buy, their ability to fund more wars. We need to stop cheering politicians that are pro-war. If you are a true human being, if you are a true anti-war activist, you really believe in all the little scriptures in the Bibles and the books and the Qurans and things about not murdering people, killing them, stealing their wife, raping their babies. If you actually believe those scriptures, then you should be against pretty much every leader on the planet, every one of them. And you should be speaking them down. When those leaders go on stage, we shouldn't be clapping and cheering. We should be booing and throwing tomatoes. I think we can slow them down. I think we can slow them down by not believing them. I think we can slow them down by not watching their news. I think we can slow them down by not agreeing with their talking points. I think we can slow them down if we're smart enough on this system that we can actually speak down their talking points. I think we can slow them down with a lot of less cologne, a lot of less shopping in the grocery stores, you know, a lot of less taking your intellectual capital and giving it to them. That was one of my lessons. My lesson was, I'm a little bit of a nerd. I'm a little bit of a geek. This big head here that's getting shinier the older I get. You know, it's actually pretty good at computations when it comes to developing computer software and putting together ideas and automation and things like that. I decided that's not for them. I decided that, no, it's not. Slavery's a bad idea. It took me a little while till I started to really realize. And I said, no, you can't have my intellectual capital. It's okay to not work for an engineering firm and not make $250,000 a year, y'all. It's okay. You can live on 80. People do that. It's a thing. You can do that. You can live on 40,000 a year. You can. But it's about buying less. It's about doing the exact opposite of what they want you to do. If the evil people who run everything are behind all the sex slavery, selling kids, the rape, the murder, the bombs, and everything, if they tell you to go shop after 9/11, then do the exact opposite. Whatever they want you to believe the opposite. They want you to take them serious, don't take them serious at all. Laugh and joke. What's the White House Correspondents' Dinner? What's that lady's name? Funny is well, okay. She wasn't super funny. She wasn't super funny, but she was funny enough. She actually was funny enough that she chased politicians away from the White House Correspondents' Dinner. They didn't even go. They didn't go. They're like, oh, damn it. These damn comedians. I think comedians could save the world. Make fun of them. Don't take them seriously. Laugh at them. They don't like that. You know, they're like, oh, I ain't going. Trump didn't go. a lot of people, they didn't go. They was like, oh, no, here she comes. And what is her name? I forgot her name. But she got in the house and she just started talking about everybody. Now, of course, if you were on the right, all you heard was her right jokes. And you're like, get your gas face. If you're on the left, all you heard was left jokes, you know, talking about Democrats. We do stuff. We don't not do stuff. Obama didn't start those wars, you know, but she nailed it. She did. She wasn't as funny, like what brother said. She wasn't as funny as I'd like her to be, but she went in a tough room and she hopefully is going to bring back a time where we roast dumb behavior. We roast bad behavior. We roast unsustainability. Because when you were a kid, think about it, like when we were kids, we didn't have all this anti-bully stuff. Oh, bullies were prolific when we were children. Oh, they were super predators. They ran all over the schools, man. You had to be careful. You know, but if the kids who weren't big weren't the bullies, you know, you had the ones who were just smart and really funny and they get everybody laughing at you. But if you did something dumb, yes, Michelle Wolf. Thank you, Brother Don. Thank you, Brother Don. Michelle Wolf. I'm going to have to follow Michelle Wolf because she has the balls to stand up and start laughing at ignorance. She made ignorance funny again. And that's why people don't like it, because they took the sugar. They took all that sugar and they agree with the ignorance and they're happy with the Obama ignorance and the Trump ignorance. And they're okay with it because it's anti the other side. But they know deep down. They took the sugar. And so they got upset that she was making jokes about ignorant behavior. And that's why it was funny to me. It was mostly funny. Well, she had one that was hilarious about CNN. She said CNN, breaking news, broke the news. I watched that like 20 times. That was hilarious. But she actually said things that were true. And you didn't laugh because you took too much sugar. Stop taking the sugar. Understand that the system that we have has got to go away. Don't hold it up anymore. Let it fall, but get prepared for it to fall. You know, get prepared. In other countries, listen to Americans. Listen to how stupid we sound. Listen to the dumb things we're saying. Listen to all the mistakes we've made. So when you rebuild your country without a big colonial influence, you can build it in a way that supports all life, not just elite life. We build a planet that is highly sustainable to the 0.01% thriving and a 0.01% life. We built a horrible planet for the middle class, the upper class, the lower class, and the poor. So let it fall. Let me see last couple comments and I'm gonna run. Just look at Puerto Rico. They will need to leave. Yes, Verna, Puerto Rico is a fantastic example of permaculture. I got friends from Puerto Rico and they say, Puerto Rico, they stopped complaining, right? Yeah, it sucked first when y'all turned your backs on them. Now they're making do. They're like, okay, I forgot. We took a little sugar, but we didn't take a whole lot of sugar. We know that we're sustainable on our own. Like, okay, well, I'll rebuild my house and I'll live without power for a little while. I'll go walk, get my water. I'll do this, I'll do that. And so we got to pay attention to that. But Puerto Rico still is a lot more sustainable than the United States is. Their collapse, see, they went without power for how long? Well, I think you still have 40% of the country still didn't have power, of the state still didn't have power. But they made it. And how long has it been? It's been almost a year now. And what do the statistics say about America? If the power gets shut off in America, that within 3 months, 90% of the population will be dead. Think about that. Swallow that sustainability. Swallow that permaculture skill. Ask yourself, is living on electricity that comes from wires that we actually pay for, and we got to work to pay for it, and we can't stop working, otherwise they shut it off, then they take your kids if they shut it off. Like, if this whole sick thing that they've built up, if it's a good idea to keep going, you better get some solar panels. That's what I tell everybody. Say, well, what am I supposed to do with my savings? I'm not going to take my money out the bank. What am I going to do? Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should. Get yourself some solar panels, invest in some wind turbines, invest in some water, hydro generators, geothermal, something. If you need to, put it in the warehouse, put it in your backyard, but make sure that you are sustainable in your own house based on that. And you can live off of it and you can thrive off of it, not just live, but thrive. And I think that's the difference. There's a difference between living and surviving and thriving. We can thrive in a collapse if we're smart enough, because we always have. Back when we were sustainable and we could take care of ourselves. Now we got on these big diapers. We got these big diapers. You know what my diaper example is this morning? You put on these big diapers, that PhD diaper, that bachelor's degree diaper, that philosophy. You got these big diapers on and you're dependent on them. But when the infrastructure that make those things have value goes away, and then you're a baby, and then you realize how much of a baby you actually are. You realize how unsustainable you are. You realize that we built a world that needs to be sustained on complete unsustainable services, products, in a completely unsustainable model. Let me see. Unfettered predatory multinational capitalism. Thank you, Grace. That's a big word. I can barely get it out my mouth, but that's spot on. Big phrase. Unfettered. We ain't do nothing about it. Can't be stopped. Police state. Predatory. Police state. War, kill, murder, rape. Everything that makes all of our salaries keep coming in. Multinational. It's in all countries. They bought them everywhere. No matter where you are, they're touching your country somewhere. Capitalism. It's all based on money. Doesn't really matter what you say. Communism, based on money, based on capitalism. Socialism, based on money, based on capitalism. Greed will thrive in it. Capitalism, based on greed. The elite will always thrive on it. Thank you. Spot on. Beautiful phrase. Buying local dirt from my compost facility today to start my gardens. Yes, Mary, get on it. Get your gardens going, people. Get your garden, get your compost going. I'm not so much of a compost person that turning stuff. I'm trying to take it to the raw, sister, though. I try to take it to the raw, Mary. I try to take it to the raw with vermiculture. So I use red wigglers. Red wigglers, they eat my garbage. They make soil in less than 3 months. And I just have buckets I stack on top of each other. I throw all my waste, food waste, your avocado seed shells and the rest of the avocado, the tomatoes that go bad because you didn't use them fast enough, and the salad that you couldn't get to in that time. I take all that waste and the ends on the onions. I don't know. I met a guy actually once who ate the end of an onion. I ain't never gonna do that. Take the end of the onion, put it in the compost. 3 months, they'll eat it with the newspaper if you want to do that too, and they'll make it compost. So I like that. And I actually make compost teas, Mary. You can make compost tea. If you've got like a clay yard, you got one of those unsustainable yards where they just took all the good soil, earth, microbiology out, and they put a bunch of clay in because it holds up the house real good. That's a good thing too sometimes. Then what you can do is you can use compost tea. Compost teas actually will break down that clay and they'll turn it back into soil. But you got to get on it. If you're lazy, you don't want to make compost tea, you don't have to. There are actually companies now that provide compost tea. All compost tea is, it's when you take the compost, you drip water through it, or you put it actually in the barrel with water, and they breed diverse colonies of the microbiology that live in the aerobic soil. The microbiology are what break down that clay and they make soil, right? So by spraying compost teas by the hundreds of billions of gazillions all over your yard, they slowly start breaking down that clay, turning it to soil. So when you take that tomato seed and you put it in there, you have the microbiology that grows that tomato into a healthy tomato. That way you don't need fertilizer. All right. Let me see. Keep your wants and desires in checks. It starts with us. Yes, Crystal. Everything. I think it starts and it ends with us, Crystal. I think it starts and it's an individual thing. It is a mirror thing. We solve all of our problems in the mirror, not in our neighbor's mirror. You know, you fix your lifestyle. You know, you don't need to buy that new car. You don't need to buy a bigger house. You know, you don't need a new watch. You know, you don't need to go out to the bar spending all your money drinking. You can drink at home. It's cheaper. You can drink with your neighbors. That's even better. You may build up community that way. Make friends. Get to know them. Realize they're not terrorists. They're not crazy. You know, but also if you're going to buy another car, like I said, the next car, if I buy another car, buy an electric car. Why wouldn't you buy an electric car? They got great ones now. What is the, one of the best ones? Is it Ford? I forgot the name of it. It gets almost 80 miles now on electric charge. Imagine if the oil goes away. Imagine if Venezuela and all of this petrodollar stuff collapses and you got an electric car and you got solar panels and you put your investment in solar panels and wind vanes and the electric car instead of just the big ignorant sports car or the big gas powered pickup truck. When the power goes out, you won't even care. You'll be a king in your neighborhood, actually. You'll be the community center. People will come to your house. You'll be, yes, the Focus. Focus is one of them. But no, it's not the Volt, though. The Volt is the absolute best. I have my buddy of mine bought a Volt. I want a Volt. Somebody should buy me a Volt. So I get somebody to spend some money on me. The Volt is the best because the Volt gets up to 86 miles on the charge. I think the newer ones, which means that if you live within 20 hours of work or 20 miles of work, it means you're charging your car, which you're basically spending nothing in electricity, nothing in gas. If you got solar panels, it's a true nothing. You drive the car to work and you drive home and you don't spend any gas. So what does that mean? That means your commute, you're not supporting slavery, you're not supporting rape and murder and war, but also when things get tough and gas prices go up or just everything collapses, you're still getting around. You know, think long term. But the cool thing I like to think about it too, though, is I don't get into the doomsday prepping. I look at it like, let me go back to the porch. I don't get into the doomsday prepping. I just listen to the old people. And the old people say that these things always collapse. And so it's just called retirement. All you're doing is you're lining up your retirement to actually equate where the markets are going. That's it. They call it doomsday prepping. I guess that you can, yeah, if you like that and that's funny. It's a great show. You should watch the show, though. It's a good show, Doomsday Preppers. But all you're doing is you're looking at the future of where this world is going, where the monetary system's going, where the economy's going. You realize that a depression is on the way, and you're just buying things to prepare for it. And once they get there, whether it's in our generation or our kids' generation, those things will already be in the family. The ability to use those things will already be in the family. Going back to knowing how to grow a garden will already be in the family. Canning will already be a thing that you know in your family. And you can still live your lifestyle, but you're just preparing your kids for what's coming. It's just called being smart. That's all. It's just called being smart. It's called being a parent. It's called preparing your children for the coming world, not preparing them for the dead world or the dying world that we're leaving behind. Anyway, listen, this is Gerard. I got to get out of here. Coming to you from the old people porch. Y'all find yourself some old people, get them talking and ask them the question. Because most old people, they're still here because they didn't drink the sugar. Because sugar's a carcinogen. Ask them, have we been here before? And where is it all going? Very easy, very easy. Anyway, love y'all to death. Y'all have a good day. Stop taking sugar with the murder, rape, slavery. Spend less, buy less, work for less evil corporations, cheer less evil leaders, and we probably can bring about a controlled collapse as opposed to an uncontrolled Great Depression collapse that could end the human race. That might be bad. That might kind of suck. I kind of like the human beings. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.